All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the San Francisco Bay Chapter's Nomination Committee Open House. We are here to talk about how to run for a position of leadership in the Sierra Club in either the San Francisco Bay Chapter or one of the awesome groups that we have. So my name is Scott Simmons. I'm running the kind of technical stuff here for this Zoom. If you have any trouble with the Zoom or have any problems and you're a person who types in chat, please feel free to type at me. Right now I'm showing a screen that has sort of the big dates that that are important for this upcoming election. We'll get to that more in just a second. Just to let everybody know, we're going to run this Zoom kind of like just a friendly group Zoom. If you have a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask it. If it's possible, unless it's something really urgent or something where you're really lost, please hold questions until closer to the end. We have a few things that we'll present to you. But of course, if something is really urgent, if there's something happening or whatever, and you have to pipe up, of course, please do. This is a pretty small group. And so I think it'll be good to run it that way. And yeah, without further ado, if we can, I'll just go through and ask folks to introduce yourselves. If you can just like say hello, say your name, maybe say where you're located. And our icebreaker question can be, what's your favorite thing about the Sierra Club today? I'll go first. My name is Scott Simmons. My pronouns are he, him. I am on unceded Ohlone territory that is also the best city in the world, San Francisco. And my favorite thing about the Sierra Club today, I would say the thing I'm most excited about is doing outings again. We haven't had those in a little while, and I'm very excited to meet people again in the real world. So I'm excited for the next hike or outing that I can make it to, whatever that is. Yeah. Okay, Pam, can I ask you to introduce yourself next?
Hi, I am Pam Green. This is my son, Eugene. We are just getting ready for bedtime, but I am she, her, and I am in Marin, and I am on the nominations committee, and last year was my first year. And my favorite part about Sierra Club is just feeling like I'm part of an organization that's wanting to help the environment in a bigger way. And I'll go to Melinda.
Thanks, Pam. Hi, everybody. And I think the way that the Zoom was set up, it has it to default to have your camera off, but you're encouraged to turn your camera on if you so choose, although I don't think it's required. My name is Melinda, she, her. I live in Berkeley in the East Bay, and I'm on Ohlone land, and I really love, one thing I really love about the Sierra Club is the people, getting to know a lot of really interesting, like-minded people in the area. And I'll pass it to Peggy, who is muted. Still muted, Peggy.
Tell me that. Okay. Peggy De Silva, San Francisco, chair of the nominations committee this year. And my thing about the Sierra Club that I am happy about today is that actually yesterday I had the fun of being somewhat on Zoom, wishing I was in the tavern in Oakley where the Delta group was meeting, and talking with them about their efforts to revitalize, grow, and bring their group forward. And I think that's wonderful. And we had some interesting conversations about, you know, the Sierra Club they or the Sierra Club we, and I have learned to now say the Sierra Club is us. So what we want it to do, we need to make it do. So let's see, I'll go right underneath me is a Joey.
Hello, my name is Joey. I'm from Pleasanton in the Tri-Valley area, and I don't know if there's like one thing that like excites me about the Sierra Club. I don't, just all the components of it are just really cool. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. And then who else is not on?
We've still got Carol Drake and Carol Silva.
Okay, I think Carol put something in the chat, so I'll leave it to.
Oh, hi, I put something in the chat because I didn't want to forget anything. So do you want me just to read it or?
Sure, if you wouldn't mind. It'd be
Okay.
lovely to say hello.
I live in Fremont and I'm in the Southern Alameda Sierra Club group with Martha Krieger. I'm sure everybody knows her, right? And I'm on the Lonely Land and I want to get involved with the climate literacy group.
That's
And
amazing.
that's not just for young people, that's for, it'll be more of a challenge for the adults. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Is their mindset.
We're very excited to have you. Thank you for
Okay,
thank you
thank
for
you.
joining. Yeah. And last but not least, of course, Carol Silva. Are you able to unmute and say hello?
Sure. Hello, I'm Carol Silva. I live in Livermore. I'm a part of the Tri-Valley group. And I think one of my favorite things about the Sierra Club is just learning all the things that they're doing by reading the Sierra magazine. So I appreciate all the information that I get between the Yodeler and the Sierra magazine. And I do love the calendars that they always produce. And the people in our group.
I love it.
Great.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Peggy, you want to take it away?
We don't have anybody else, right? Nobody else lurking? Okay, if anybody comes in, we'll welcome them. So I want to introduce a little bit more Melinda Howard Herarte, who we asked to come and talk to this group because Melinda has the experience of deciding to run for leadership in the Sierra Club in our chapter. Those of you who remember reading your Sierra Club Yodeler, which is the chapter print newsletter, the last issue, there was an interview that I did with Melinda and with Lisa and with Beth, 3 leaders, to talk about, you know, it's not that daunting, you can do it. And there's some positive things. And if Melinda has to say some of the pains also, that's fine, all right. But take it away, Melinda, tell us about what it's like to decide to be in chapter leadership.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Peggy, for inviting me to come and chat with you all. And thanks for everyone here for considering taking up a role in leadership on the chapter or in a group. I think it's a really important thing to do, and it's great that you're considering doing it. Peggy and Scott and the rest of the NOMCOM have all been really helpful in the process, and they're going to be great resources for you if you have questions about what's happening. So I encourage you, don't be afraid to reach out to them if you have questions. For me, I really have enjoyed serving previously on the chapter executive committee and currently in the Northern Alameda County group executive committee, because I feel like it's a chance to have my voice heard and to be a conduit to the people in the community that so that their voices can be heard as well. And I think one of the really cool things about it is the executive committees get the chance to meet with our local politicians, to have check-ins with them and to interview them when they're running for re-election. And if you think about people like Governor Newsom, our Senators Feinstein and Padilla, Kamala Harris, and the new state AG Rob Bonta, those are all local Bay Area people. So, you know, had I been on the executive committee for the chapter of the group just a few years ago, I would have had the chance to interview with those people because, you know, all of our elected officials start somewhere, and a lot of them have started in the Bay Area. So I think that's a really cool opportunity for us. I came into Sierra Club running for a position on the executive committee in the Northern Alameda County group, not really knowing anything very much about the executive committee or about what the Sierra Club did, which probably in hindsight was kind of dumb, but I actually was able to meet with some of the people on the on the executive committee and talk to them and get to know their experiences and start sitting in on meetings. So if you're not already involved in one or more committees, I think it would be great to jump into those, particularly the conservation committees for the local groups are really a great place to learn about what's happening. And I find that you kind of get out of it what you put into it. So sometimes it can feel a little daunting to take the time it requires to really go through the agendas and understand the background of all the issues that get discussed. But I think, you know, most of the work that's done in the chapter is done by volunteers. And so people understand that we all have lives to live. We've got families. A lot of us have jobs and other things going on. So I think it hasn't, for me, been overly taxing. It's just a matter of making sure that I set the time aside to prepare before the meetings. I think this is a really great time to get started with the things starting to move back to in person. It's a really cool opportunity to get to know some of the people that you'll be working with. I personally have not met face-to-face a lot of the people that I've been working with for the last 2 years due to the pandemic. So I think this is going to be a really cool time to get to know people face-to-face. And I think the last thing that I wanted to say is that should you find that you are not elected, that is not an uncommon experience. Sometimes we get elected and then we don't get reelected, and so we go off and we go back on, and that's normal. But a lot of times people actually find that they're not able to complete their terms, and so appointment opportunities come up as well. Sometimes midterms. So if the election shouldn't turn out as you wanted to, I would say definitely don't let that discourage you. There's so many opportunities to stay involved in most of the committees, like the conservation committees, the zero waste committees, etc., are not necessarily competitive, and pretty much anybody who's a member can just hop onto those committees and start volunteering. So I think those are kind of some of the things that I thought I'd share with you today. Thanks again for being here, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Melinda, for all that you've done and for being here with us. You've been a great resource and a great inspiration for us all. So moving on to our website, which, go ahead, Scott, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, thank you, Melinda, of course, for all your leadership, all you do, and for being here today and saying hello. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's take a quick spin through the website, which will be a resource to all of us for how this election can go. And I think I'm sharing my screen there. And I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat, just in case you want to check it out or follow along. Okay, so this is our the chapter elections page that lets us know, just has all the information that's open to the public, open to membership for how these elections go. And most everything that you need through this process should be found here. But of course, and I'll scoot this over again real quick. Well, I can drop it in chat too. You can always email us as well. I guess I'll drop that in here. elections@sfasc.org. But right, this web page is there to answer your questions and give you guidance on how this goes. I can just walk through this briefly. It's definitely worth your time to go to the website and read it all the way through. Here at the top, we've got links to these open houses that we're running right now. So if you're already here for that, amazing, congratulations. A quick explainer of what the executive committees are. And this is, I guess we can dig into this really quick if we want to, Peggy, now. Generally speaking, the Sierra Club leadership, the people who make the decisions about what the Sierra Club endorses, what we say in letters, what we support, what we're doing as a group, those decisions are made to a very large extent by elected volunteers. So if you hear that the local Sierra Club is supporting the effort to say, I don't know, do improve transit or become more electrifying appliances in new homes, that kind of thing. Those decisions about how to do that and what to do about that, those decisions are made by volunteers who run for office, run for leadership positions, and are elected. So that's what we're here to show you how to do. So it's a lot of responsibility, but it's a really great way to help us make the Sierra Club awesome, and it's a great way to contribute to the causes that we care about. And this sort of gives a breakdown of what the chapter is versus what the groups are. If you need more information about that, please let us know. There's a link here to the elections calendar. And this is actually, it's going to download a PDF for you, but this just has all the dates in more detail for how this election is going to go. And it just gives you more detail on what the deadlines are, the time you have to do each sort of phase of the election, and when the deadlines are for us to notify people about who was nominated, who's going to be on the ballot, who won, all that kind of stuff. So really quickly, and I guess this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but there are two ways to run for a leadership position in the Sierra Club. You can be nominated by a committee, or you can be nominated by petition. There's a deadline for, there are deadlines associated with both. But what you do is you submit an application, and those application forms are down below. You submit an application to us, and that application has a bunch of awesome questions on it, lets you introduce yourself, and that nomination will go to either the nominating committee for your group, or it will go to the chapter nominating committee, which is myself, Peggy, and Pam. And Beth, who's not here today, but she's amazing. The nominating committee will choose to nominate you to be on the ballot, or they will choose not to nominate you. They're going to make that decision, hopefully based on choosing the right people to run for leadership in the Sierra Club. I will say, well, I won't talk too much about how they make those decisions because I can't speak for other groups. If you find that you are not nominated by a committee, or if you would like to not be nominated by committee, if for whatever reason you choose, you just want to bypass that option, you can simply be nominated by petition. There's a form that you can find. Again, it's linked here. And you just get a number of signatures, and those can be electronic signatures. It's just people saying, yes, I support your candidacy for leadership in the Sierra Club. As long as they are members of the Sierra Club, they have the ability to nominate you by petition, or they have the ability to support you by petition, sorry. And if you get enough signatures, and the signatures vary depending on what position you're running for, it's anywhere from 15 to 50. You get enough of those petitions, you put that on that form. We go through and validate those petitions just to validate those signatures, just to make sure those folks have valid memberships, to make sure that they really did sign your petition and support you. That's another pathway that you can use to make sure that you're on the ballot come election time. We can dig into both of those a little deeper, I think, a little bit later, but generally speaking, those are the two pathways. And you can always try both. You can always put yourself forward for nomination by committee, and if for whatever reason the appropriate committee doesn't nominate you, you can then move forward with nomination by petition. And you can do these in parallel. If you're not sure how it's going to go, you can start gathering petition signatures today, and also put forward your nomination by committee. And if the committee ends up saying no thank you for whatever reason, then you'll be ahead of the game and you'll already be gathering signatures to be nominated by petition. Okay, I think I've said the words petition and committee enough times to make it sound silly, but that's that process. We'll dig into that a little more if we have questions around that. And then here are sort of okay, so here's the spot you can download the actual rules. If you're really into reading complicated rules, you can go ahead and dig in on those. It's a fun read, let me tell you. But most importantly, here are the questionnaires if you want to run for a chapter executive committee or a group executive committee, or if you want to gather signatures to nominate yourself by petition. That form is there for
Scott,
you.
can you open one of those and show them how that works?
You betcha.
Yeah. Mhm.
You want a group XCOM?
I'd say chapter.
chapter it is. Okay, this is going to look a little funky on my computer, but that is okay. Let me, okay. I know how to use technology, I swear. Hang tight. Okay, I'll switch over to that window. Please hold, please hold. Okay. Are we seeing that well enough? Oops. How's that, Peggy?
All right, okay, that's good. It's full. Mhm.
Okay, so this is the chapter executive committee nomination questionnaire. You can download this at that webpage. And this walks you through sort of the how to all the steps for submitting your application to be nominated. You just go through and read this and follow the instructions. And there are some questions down here that give you space to talk about why you think you'd make a good leader for the Sierra Club, and list your experience, things that you've done. And I would say, I mean, I don't know, I would say for this thing, just kind of put anything and everything in there. Anything you want to tell the nominating committee, whether that's us or whether it's the group nominating committee. Just give us everything. Tell us, this is an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit. So I would say, don't be shy. Definitely feel free to brag about yourself and let us know what you're up to, what you care about. And if you can't find a question in here that talks about what exactly it is that you think makes you a great candidate, I think just throw it in there at the end or find a way to get it in there. It's not super duper formal. This is just an opportunity to for us to get to know you. And there's a little thing that says that you've read the chapter election rules, which again are linked on the previous page, just so we know that everybody's going to play fair and understands the rules and abide by those rules. Was there something you wanted to dig in on, something specific you wanted to go over there, Peggy?
I think the only things I would add to that is, so you're going to download this one from the website, right? So you're going to get it in probably a Microsoft Word doc or whatever you want. The first page, of course, is just information. The other pages is all your information you fill up. You need to rename your document. And if you go up, Scott, a little bit there, we tell you please how to do it so we can find it up farther. So see here, it says, name it. If, for example, this is the chapter one, you want to run for chapter and then your last name. Okay, so that's the name of your document. And then you're going to either do one of two things, whichever is easier for you. And we're totally happy to help. Just don't please call us on July 29th saying, oh, I just started this and now I can't get it in. Okay, that's hard. We'll work with you, but that's hard. So you can either click on this little link and it will take you to a Google Drive where it says push this button and you upload your form and the little thing says you've been received. That's good, it's in. And if you're worried about it not getting in, you can send us a note and say, are you sure you got it? We don't mind that either. But then the other thing is you can just email a copy of it to us at our elections website or our elections email address too. So just, I think the key thing, the thing that people have the most error on is they forget to put their name on it. And then, chapter or Marin or Tri-Valley Group or whatever, whoever who are you running for and what's your last name? That's really helpful to name your document that and get it into us. Because what we do as the chapter, we have a portal. So all of the applications come in, whether they're petition or nomination questionnaires, they all come into us and the chapter nominating committee, and then we deploy them to the groups that have nominating committees that they've set up. And for example, I'm thinking, did I hear somebody, let's see, SAC, no, NAC has their chair chosen, Kent Lewandowski, Marin has Mickey, San Francisco has Barry. I don't know that we have any of those people from those groups here, but they've already got their nominating committee chair and people organized. We send those questionnaires to them so that then the group nominating committee, if it's a group, will decide whether they want to nominate. And I think on the group questionnaire, which is very similar at this point to the chapter one, We asked all the groups if they wanted to put in other questions that were relevant to their own region, for example. And they haven't yet done that, but they might. So if you send yours in and they say, oh, you're applying for leadership in Marin, and we'd also like to know about this. They also could ask you to do an interview with them in Zoom or in person. You can, do that if you wish. And we will also have the opportunity, we'll be setting up meet and greets. So you'll be invited as a candidate, once the candidates are all chosen, that will be in September, to come to these meet and greets and talk to, anybody who wants to come from the chapter and hear about you. And those will be informal, friendly. We don't want to scare anybody. We're really, it's great. We want differences of opinions and ideas, and everybody just be nice, this is the form that if you click on that link, you'll get to this, and you'll put your name, your email address, and then it asks you which one you're running for. And then it says, there's a button down there that says, I'll
run for San Francisco group. That's where I'm
Okay.
located. I'll hit add
Add
file.
file.
And I'll say, here's my SF_Simmons. Did I get the naming thing right, Peggy?
Mhm. Yes, good job, Scott.
Thank you. And then I go submit. And then I've submitted my application.
And I think it's going to pop and say, yes, you got it. You did.
Mhm.
You were recorded.
For what it is
That's-
worth, it does not send you an email. We tried
Ah.
really, really hard to make it send you an email. So it says, hey, we got your thing. We're not there yet with the technology, but if you get to that page, then it's been sent to us. And I while we're kind of chatting about the meet and greets, Peggy, myself, Pam, and Beth will run those. They're really great. They're very friendly. It's a great opportunity to meet other folks. We do tend to get a decent turnout. People tend to get more interested as we get closer to election time. So more people show up. It's a great way to meet other members in the club, and to hear about the issues that other folks in the club care about. I have a great time with those. And yeah, like Peggy said, we make sure that it's a nice time. Oh, we've got Paul Seeger in the waiting room. I'll let him in.
And one of the things about the meet and greets is probably the chapter ones, the full for everybody, will probably be on Zoom. I don't know if we could do one that would invite everybody and get everybody in. I'm not sure how that would work this year, but we have definitely been encouraging all the groups to set up their own meet and greets, either by Zoom, or they might even be able to do them in person. So that if you're running for something and you can get more members of the group. One of the things we think is really important in our Sierra Club and in our country is better participation in elections. And so anything we can do to raise the participation and interest of people in actually making this grassroots democracy work, we want to do it. So that's one thing. And I think we probably should go, we'll say hello to Paul. Paul's from Delta. Hi, Paul, glad you're here. And we're just going through the webpage, and then we're going to have questions and comments and all that kind of stuff. So can we go to the election rules, Scott,
Sure. Yeah.
on the webpage?
It is a document that you download. Let me get it
Mhm.
open real quick. Here we go. Please hold, please hold. There
So
we
we'll
go.
look at these briefly. I sort of hate to say that I sometimes lay awake at night thinking about Sierra Club election rules. It's kind of a sick thing. So I must need more vacation. But these are the election rules that they come down to us from National Sierra Club. And we can alter them in some ways, but we can't do anything that conflicts with them. We put a special thing on our little nomination questionnaires this year to say, when you sign this to apply, you say you've read these. It is 9 pages, but it's not tiny print. And one of the things I want to point out is that we in the chapter have been trying to make the process work as well as possible. Our committee has a real commitment to clear, fair, transparent, and welcoming elections. So we're like, how do we not bury people in how would you say, gobbledygook and
stuff.
jargon and
Yeah.
all that other kind of stuff. And it's really hard when you're in the Sierra Club and it's 129 years old and it's over the whole country and all sorts of things go on. You know, but we try to make it as clear as possible. And the best we can say is if you have any questions, let us know. Let's just kind of scroll through this. So this is where it says, if you can scroll, Paul or Scott. So this tells you how the elections are run. There's the petition thing. That's good. Notifications, it tells us keep going. That's fine. I think people will read those, hopefully. Campaigning. So, well, first thing I want to say is we'll look at the calendar when I'm done here, but get your application in on time. We have had some distress in our chapter over the last few years when people have missed the deadlines. And we don't have to miss deadlines because we have a long period for people to send in their applications. So like yourself or anybody else that you know that might possibly be interested, get going with it now, get it going. If there's anything that's questionable, you know, ask questions and we are here to help. It is not about excluding anybody or pushing people out. So we will help you. But like I said, harder to help on July 29th at 10 o'clock at night. I will be asleep, sorry. So candidate approval, campaigning, that can get a little dicey. The main thing here that Sierra Club guidelines is that we try to keep campaigning positive. So we ask everybody not to say nasty things about other people that are running. Seems basic, right? So that's in there in the rules. We ask you also to, if you're going to decide to say mail something out, to let other people know that you're going to do that. That got to be kind of a dicey thing with some of the elections. It's expensive to do. So you can see right here of mailing campaign material is discouraged. The National Sierra Club says we'd rather not have a lot of money in elections for a lot of good reasons. So let's try not to do that. And one of the ways that we're trying to help with that is by offering, say, meet and greets and chances for people to speak up at various forum and whatever kinds of things so that they get their information out. And the ballot statements, when they come out, your candidate statement, it tells about you, all that kind of stuff, so that hopefully enough information can go out about any candidate without the person having to put into a lot of money to do a mailing or something. And you pretty much, you want to read this if you want to use any of the email lists that you're familiar with in your group, for example, because you don't want to do something that trods on rules of not using the normal communication of the club to then promote your candidacy. So you got to be careful about that. So you want to read that. Okay, let's go, keep going on down. Distributing, tell other people what you're up to, promotion to candidates, responding, campaign, fine. Yep, club publications, websites, there's that stuff. That's good. Discussion lists. This is the voting. The voting will take place in November, December. We try to make it start after the national public elections so that we don't have people going crazy with too many things going on. And so that's what we're trying to sort of set up our timing. We are limited somewhat by what the National Sierra Club has set up for everybody to do in timing. Okay, and then there's the ballots. We will have paper ballots and electronic ballots, and you'll get information in the Yodler, you know, and then you'll get something. We're hoping that we'll have enough money to send out a reminder postcard in December, but I'm not sure yet if we'll have to be able to do that. And then there's some things about if people do violate, if you see something going on wrong, you can complain, other people complain, whatever, and we have to deal with that. But we haven't had in the last few years any complaints that resulted in disqualifying anybody. People pretty much try to do the right thing. So that's good. And so I'm happy to answer questions about that as we go on. And then let's just look at the calendar for a minute. Scott, yeah, you got it there. Mm-hmm. So here's the calendar, and we're here in June, okay? And then there's July 30th, 11:59 p.m. before midnight. turn in those nomination packets. And then we will let you know within a couple of weeks, because we and the nominating committees at groups will be reviewing all the materials. Although everybody likes to be receiving materials before the deadline, because then all these volunteers that are working on making nominations can spread out their work and go on vacations in the summer. And then September 15th will be the date at which you need to have your candidate statement ready. And sometime in the next few weeks or so, we will actually get up on the website the statement form. We just have to review that a little bit more, make sure that's fine, just in case you should be an eager beaver and want to get that done earlier. Let's see, okay. And the voting period will be November 13th to December 11th. Then we will count ballots, and people are welcome to like zoom in or observe in terms of the ballot counting. They can't look to see who's voted, who voted how, but we try to be as transparent as possible. We had a couple of observers last election too. Okay, I think that's all.
Yeah, and I would just add on to all of that. And thank you, Peggy, for walking through all of that. It's a lot of stuff. If right now your kind of eyes are glazing over a little bit and it's a lot of information, don't worry. That's what we're here for. Send us an email and let us know how we can help you. Our job is to walk you through this process and to help good people run for leadership in this club. So don't let it be overwhelming. We're here to understand all the fine print. If you have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're looking to spend some volunteer time and to be a leader in this organization, we're here to help you. Okay. So I think Peggy, did you want to, I think we kind of went over the calendar there.
Yeah. Is Pam here? Or is she putting Eugene to bed?
I think she's putting Eugene to bed.
Okay, as I was going to give her a chance to say anything if she wanted to say something, but
I am here, but we're still
there she
doing
is.
bedtime. Hi.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
You want to add anything to this sort of introduction, and we'll open it up for anybody to have questions, comments?
I think that this has been very thorough and helpful. And I hope that everyone here will apply.
Thank
Well
you.
said.
Okay. We're open.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to just unmute and let us know, or type them in the chat. I've got both open. Anything at all. Any questions? I guarantee you, if you have even a weird question about anything, somebody else has it. Yes, Carol, I see you.
Hi. Where was that election calendar that you just had up? Where
You
can
bet.
it be found?
On that chapter elections webpage. I'll share it again. Let's see. I have too many things open. Yeah, if you go to
Oh, right there. You just
passed it, Scott. Yeah.
did I? Oh, the election right here. You just give this a
Oh,
click.
okay.
And it's a PDF document that will download when you click that. If you have any
Okay.
trouble with that, just let me know. I'll email it to you.
Okay.
But that's how you
Thank
get it.
you.
You bet. Any other questions? Has anyone joined this, listened to us talk about this, and then thought like, no way, I'm not going to run. It sounds complicated. I hope not. I hope you're all excited to run.
We don't want to scare anybody off.
Yeah.
I know that we had one person add in after we had done introductions. So Paul, are you still here, Paul? Paul Seeger, do you want to say
I'm here.
hello? And what we asked people was to say hello, say where you're from, and tell us what's your favorite thing about the Sierra Club today. And I said, I have to let you know that my favorite thing was having been able to talk to the Delta group, which is about as far from me as it can get, to yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, that's fantastic, because I know our little group had a ton of questions, and it's just trying to figure things out. So yeah, I'm Paul Seeger, and I'm the chair of the Delta Regional Group, and let's see. I've run for election for my office, for our group, twice. I started the group back up in 2017, and we just kind of appointed people, and I started going through the elections shortly thereafter. And I really appreciate this group that's putting such great effort into documenting and figuring out calendars to make it so easy for us to do. It's really it's fail proof in my opinion. And my favorite thing about the Sierra Club is that that we continue onward. And hopefully we can get some more new people. And sorry, I'm exhausted. I've had a very long day working, so I just came in and joined a little bit late. But we really appreciate you showing up yesterday, Peggy, so much.
You're
That was
welcome.
fantastic.
Good to see you here today. Take care.
Thank you.
Anybody else with questions or comments?
I'll say I definitely agree with you, Paul. Very excited about getting some more people in here. I think the mission of this club and the history of this club and all of the awesome things we do, there's no reason why we don't have more people interested and engaged. The issues we grapple with are just really, really important. And anyone you talk to around here, climate change, conserving open spaces, all the stuff that a lot of things that are top of mind for a lot of folks these days are things that the Sierra Club is working hard on. So I agree with you. There's no reason we can't get some more folks in here. Let's do it. Carol, I see you again with your hand up.
Yeah, sorry about that. But in regards to the meet and greets that happen in September that are informal, how is that grouped with the candidates? I mean, is that at the chapter level, the group level, or it doesn't matter what level? And is it like all, if it's group level, is it all the groups together?
These are really great questions, and you should come be a part of the chapter nominations committee, because those are the kinds of questions we have to figure out. That's kind of a cheeky answer. We'll have to figure it out. It sort of depends on scheduling and what's going to work for everybody. Our goal is, Peggy, I think this is fair to say, our goal is to not make it like a marathon Zoom that people have to join and then like wait, an hour and a half to get to their group. We want to find a way to do it so that folks can join and hear information about the candidates that are running in their group. At the same time, we have a lot of groups. So we'll see if some groups choose to do their own meet and greets. We might find a way to do a big group one where people from all over can join. I guess the answer is we're not really sure yet, right, Peggy?
But I think we have been learning. Last year was the first time that we did it, to do the meet and greets. And of course, the year before was the big pandemic thing. We tried to do them. We had some difficulties. We weren't ultimately able to do it. Some people were really worried about it and didn't want it to happen. But anyway, so last year we got them together, and Melinda, you were there. I'm thinking as a candidate, perhaps if you want to add in, feel free to add in. But we had some difficulty because, as Scott says, we've got a chapter XCOM, and then we've got 8 groups. And so the first one I think we tried to have everybody talk, everybody give their little speech and then their questions, but we're thinking, well, yes, but if you're in the Delta group, you might not be so interested in what the Tri-Valley group is concerned about. And so then we thought we would do breakouts, but then people said they couldn't come and they wanted it recorded, and we can't record breakouts. So I'm thinking that, and that's one of the reasons why we're really encouraging, especially now when hopefully we can have some more in-person meetings, that the groups will in fact do some in-person, ideally, meetings of their own group candidates so that people can talk to them and have tea, cheese and crackers, whatever, and have a nice gathering, which we haven't been able to have in so long. But I'm thinking that probably what our chapter one would be, or a couple of them, we might have chapter candidates to give their little 2-minute statement. and then questions with chapter candidates, and then do the breakouts, but we wouldn't be able to tape all of the, videotape and put them on the website, all the group ones. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we're going to do. We're open to suggestions. Melinda, what did you think from last year? You were participating, I think.
Yeah, what I remember from last year was we did 2 sessions, both included chapter, and then the groups were split half and half between the 2 sessions.
Oh yeah, that's right. We tried that.
Yeah, I thought it was helpful. I wish the turnout would have been better, but perhaps this year will be.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions? Joey, I know you reached out to me to ask how to get plugged into this, or how to maybe dip your toes in the water. Has this been exciting and informative, or how does this all sound to you?
Yeah, it's both of those things. I'm really excited about the process, and yeah, this is very informative. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you for making time. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your interest.
And maybe we'll ask Carol also. Carol, you're there. Do you have anything? Is it helpful?
Yes, it has been very helpful. I wish, no, the deadlines and the timeline, that's been all very helpful. The campaigning section, I guess I'll need to read on the website, and then if I have questions, I'll contact someone. But because I thought there was something in regards to campaigning where either the chapter, well, probably the chapter, needed to approve any, I guess, campaign information that was mailed out. And I was wondering if that included emails or if that just included US Post. And am I right in regards to campaign material needing to be approved by the chapter?
Actually, we don't have to approve it. There's rules that say it needs to be positive, right? No, don't do negative campaigning. And there are rules that are in there about which, for example, it's in there that if you happen to be, the example in there is if you're on a forestry group in your chapter, you can't use the forestry list to promote your candidacy. If your forestry group has a meeting and you're there and you mention that you're a candidate, that's fine. It's kind of like, you have to be careful. I mean, I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to level the playing field essentially, so that people who are already in leadership positions don't get to they have so many lists and everything they can tell everybody. And it's a little bit, some of it is, I've asked questions of National Sierra Club, and they've said, oh yeah, we've got to work some of these things out, because especially with the pandemic, there were some things that changed because so much more was electronic, people couldn't meet. But yeah, read through them, see what we don't have to approve. If you'll see in the rules, it does, you have to send copies to people. So really the kind of thing is, if you send a copy, this is a mailer, something that's printed, that's a bigger, how would you say, a bigger operation, because it costs a whole lot more money. It has to go through a mailing house. We as Sierra Club members can ask to mail on any topic that's relevant to our membership. That's part of being a membership organization. We can ask, I could ask for the membership list of the chapter to ask them to support better transit in the Bay Area, for example, because I was worried about something in terms of transit. It would cost me a lot of money because I would have to make up a mailer, and then I would have to find a mailing house through the chapter to mail it, because I couldn't get lists of names. They're very concerned. One of the key things is being concerned about not giving out member names and addresses to people just, willy-nilly. So that they want to control that so that it gets mailed from a mailing house, and that's what costs a lot. And like I said, we agree that that's a lot of big process and it's a lot of big money. And we don't want to put that as a barrier in people's faces. So we'll try to offer other ways for people to learn about candidates. Does that help? Yeah, Scott?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, Carol, that's a really good question, Carol. I think I kind of hear two questions there, and I just kind of want to summarize what I heard Peggy say, because this can be confusing. For the email stuff, no one can use official Sierra Club emails to send out campaign information, because those email lists are controlled by the people who are currently on those executive committees. So it would be unfair. So you won't see any campaign related information in official Sierra Club emails. If you have friends that you'd like to email and say, hey, I'm running for leadership in the Sierra Club, absolutely do that. So that's kind of the email question. The postcard or kind of paper mail, snail mail question, we have to abide by the national rules, and those say that you can do that. If that is something that you're interested in, I would say reach out to us ASAP. It's a longer process. There's a whole lot of sort of hoops to jump through to make sure we do it properly. Peggy, I don't think we're allowed to say don't do it. We do say it's discouraged. It does introduce kind of money into these elections. It is not cheap to do that, but it is technically allowed. So if it's something that you want to do, please reach out to us ASAP, and we'll of course help you through it. 100%. Is that right, Peggy? Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, I think, yeah, read them and see, yeah, reach out and we'll work it out. Figure out what, some of the things are a little confusing even coming from national. Yeah. And how about Carol Drake? Is this helpful for you, Carol? The other Carol? Anything you might want to ask us? You're on mute right now.
No is okay. That's totally
It
okay.
was okay too, yeah.
If that's all we've got, thank you, Melinda, for coming and talking to us about your experience being a leader in the Sierra Club, and thank you for your leadership. You're amazing. Paul, also thank you as well for your leadership. And Peggy, thank you for being the amazing chair of this nominations committee. You're fantastic. Is there anything you want to say to close us out here?
I thank the committee, Pam, Scott, and Beth this year, and the others who have gone before, for doing all nominations and election works, working in the muddy trenches of democracy.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you all. Happy Saturday.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. This
Oh,
recording will
Pam
be
says
available.
something. Pam's hand is up. Oh, maybe Pam's just clapping for us all.
She's
Okay.
clapping.
I was clapping.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you,
thank you, Pam.
everybody.
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Have a great weekend.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
bye.
you, Scott, Peggy, and I guess Melinda is already off. But anyway, thanks, everyone. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.